very much for allowing me to be here. It feels comfortable being on the stage for school. That's where I spend most of my days and nights. Orange Park Junior High, we appreciate all their efforts. I am the current school superintendent, and I am running for re-election as a Republican in Clay County. Extremely proud of the school system, and I hope that each one of you here tonight examine, if you're a parent or grandparent, that you have a serious interest in this race for superintendent of schools, because I think you will find upon examination a great deal of difference between these two opponents. I'm extremely proud of this system. We've been recognized as academically high performing for the last 3 years. In fact, we just got a letter today from the State Department of Education extending that now one more year. 97% of our schools are A's. 75 A's and B's, and 75% of those are A schools. So we are very proud of those, and I would like to think that as people in the community, you'd be proud of it too. I want to, again, run 4 more years. We have a lot left to do. I came in at a time when the money was stripped and the checkbook was taken away. But we have been able to function and do a great job. Thank you.
Mr. Wortham. Up next, Mr. Charlie Van Zant.
Good evening, I'm Charlie Van Zant, and I'm asking you to trust me as your superintendent of schools. I've faithfully served you on the school board the past 14 years, fighting for your children, and in the military for over 20, fighting for your freedoms. My wife Stephanie and I, along with our 2 young sons, love this county, and my family has served years here for generations. I'm running for superintendent because I believe we're at a critical crossroads in our county. We did not become a good school system by accident, and we will not stay one automatically. We deserve leadership that will not only build off the strong academic base we have, but also focus on the 50% of our students that will never enter a college that graduate from Clay County schools. We deserve leadership that actually seeks to influence the state legislators and actually ask them and influence them to return authority to the state level that they've continually stripped away. We deserve leadership that respects the rights and the freedoms of our students and their families and will fight to protect them, not allow outside special interest groups to dictate our limitations.
Thank you. We're going to start with our questions. We'll start with Mr. Van Zant first. What criteria would you use in evaluating principals?
I have a very simple principled leadership basis. I define leadership with a couple of simple words along with the Army values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, and integrity. Now, on the technical side, we have a very robust, brand new administrative policy that's on every administrator's iPads. It's on the assistant superintendent's iPads, and there are a lot of technical areas we would evaluate them in also. But those core values, their academic background, their qualifications to even be a principal, all play into those. But at the end of the day, there's accountability. The FCAT's going away. We'll have some new national standards, and as the state and federal government love to do to us, some of those standards and criteria have yet to be defined. But we'll do what we need to do in that area. Thank you.
Thank you.
In my last 4 years as superintendent, I've evaluated every principal in Clay County now 4 times. Pre-evaluation, mid-year evaluation, final evaluation. 50% of their scores depends upon the student achievement in the schools. I am in the schools evaluating them. It is set by state criteria within the state. The leadership assessment is an instrument where I go in and I'm able to check what they're doing, how they're doing it. I'm in classrooms with them as I visit the schools in the fall and again in the winter. They come into the superintendent's office in the spring and they bring data notebooks to show what the students have been able to achieve. They are held very accountable for what they're doing. Yes, they need to be upright, strong citizens with values, certainly an individual that can be looked up to within the school as a role model. But research will tell you the greatest criteria for a student achievement in the school, believe it or not, is the principal and the leadership that principal offers in selecting the teachers that work with those students.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wortham. And actually, you can stay up. We'll start with you for our next question. Many studies indicate that student success is related to parental involvement. What steps would you take to improve parental involvement in the education of their children and in our schools?
Certainly, we welcome parental involvement. We are working now on some additional technological ways that parents can go into their computer in order to see students' grades, keep up with what's going on with their child while they're sitting at home in terms of the grade book. But in a human way, certainly, we roll out the red carpet to our parents. We welcome, create any parent involvement program, parent nights, math nights, reading nights, any way that we can to make sure that parents are friends of the school and not something that we're a school and parents are afraid of, maybe as they were in the past. So, human elements and technological elements, that school-home communication is absolutely vital, and I strongly encourage it.
Thank you, Mr. Wortham. Same question, Mr. Van Zandt.
That's actually a major plank of my platform if you've seen any of my literature or my website. We must engage the parents to a degree that they have never been engaged. The absolute most important thing in a student's decision-making process, all the research bears out, whether they do or don't make the right or the wrong decision, is what their parents think. Now, when they're teenagers, they won't tell their parents that's the most important thing to them, but statistics bear it out, and it really is. To do that, I will create a new, more inviting tone. I will set that as a leader. That is the leader's responsibility. We've got 41 schools. Orange Park Elementary is a perfect example of one that invites parents in, even mandates parents have to compete to get in. Some of the more rural schools in our county, it's very hard to find parents there unless you're offering a free spaghetti dinner or hamburgers and hot dogs. Part of that is their apathy. Part of that is our part. And there's citizens here, I'm seeing them in the audience tonight, that have been to school board meetings over the past several years.
Thank you, Mr. Van Zandt. We're going to start with you. You can stand up for this next question. Clay County is an academically high-performing district. What specific ideas and suggestions do you have for further improvement?
3 things. We have to innovate every process and procedure we have. We've been doing many of the same things the same way for 30 and 40 years. Some of those processes, there was a very valid reason when we started. It may or may not be valid anymore. I will take my first 6 months and look at every process and procedure, from transportation, instructional, every division that we have, every school that we have, before I start making any changes. Secondly, we need to engage our business community, and like I was just saying, our parents, in ways that have never happened before. Our business communities need to be brought into Clay County, given a glimpse of what we do as businesses, and I'm talking about the aviation industry and the biomedical industry. And then we have to faithfully do our part. If we say, look, we want you to put the tools, the diagnostic equipment, the x-ray labs equipment in our schools, then we have to do our due diligence. And here's where I think we have a lot of room to improve, is to take our curriculum in the junior and senior years and say, okay, we're going to adapt an academic track that allows the students to take the academics they need to go into a technical field, but might not be college bound. And again, 50% of our students don't enter college, and
Thank you very much.
That will bring our academics up.
Next question, same question, Mr. Wortham.
As I mentioned, we are an academically high-performing district now for the 4th year. What do we do to take that to the next level? We do the same things we're doing now to a certain extent, but we refine it. We're going to do more teacher training, because the teacher is the difference in the child's education, whether they're a level 3, 2, 1. It's up to the teacher to be able to get involved with that child, to get involved with the parent, and we'll do more teacher training. We will bring in different strategies, work with the child. We need to determine in some sort of an assessment what that child might need, apply those strategies. There's now something called response to intervention in our schools. We intervene and then we respond to that, individual by individual. Certainly, we need to probably expand more, and within a 3-year plan that we have for our junior highs to become more in a career and technical way. We have great academies in the high school, 2 and 3 in each high school. We'll be moving into those this year in the junior high schools, so students can get a more hands-on interest in something as they move into the senior years.
Thank you very much. Mr. Van Zandt has a rebuttal card on the floor. 30 seconds on the clock, please.
Yes, I think that if we expect the same leadership that's been doing the same job for the better part of 4 decades to do something different and take us farther along, is either the definition of lunacy or we think Mr. Wortham hasn't been doing his level best. I think he's a fine gentleman and taken us as far as we can get. I think our school board has been a good, strong leadership team for years and gotten us there. But you gotta ask yourself, is the guy that took a drug education program statewide in Florida to the national best, #1, 2 years in a row, gonna be the guy that takes an organization over and to the next level, or the guy that's already there?
And Mr. Wortham has a rebuttal, 30 more seconds.
I'm telling you, I've been superintendent 4 years, and we've been academically high-performing 4 years, the only 4 years in the history of the Clay County Schools. And you want to do a lot of drastic changing? I don't think so.